I believe so strongly that a second Trump term would be a huge risk for America and dangerous.
Yes, very, very dangerous. Remember the gas prices? Very dangerous to the Arabs, to Iran. Remember undercutting the Iranian economy? That was very dangerous to the Ayatollahs. It was, the Trump administration was dangerous to Venezuelan gangs, to Mexican drug cartels that hang hundreds of men upside down dead from bridges every year. Very, very dangerous. It was pretty good administration when it comes to living in Aurora, Colorado, or Springfield, Ohio, or Chicago, Illinois, or living in Manhattan and New York City. It was much better. Good stuff. If you worked in the energy industry in the United States, it was good time for you. If you worked in the energy industry in Iran or Russia, it was bad for you. It was bad for you. It was a time that was bad for the enemies of civilization, Hamas and Hezbollah, the Houthi rebels. You know, we never heard about the Houthi rebels when Trump was in the White House, did we? Now, we refer to Tren de Aragua as TDA because we've got to abbreviate it. We make reference to it so frequently. But if you bring it up, then you're spreading misinformation and disinformation. Say the Nazi Hitler-worshipping fascist baby-killing dogs. I'm sorry, I'm just borrowing from their lexicon. Well. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy Hump Day. It's Hump Day. You know what that means in the Clinton household? Always a, good old reliable Hillary waking up face down in a pool of her own dried vomit because it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. She's got to be out of the house real soon, whichever multi-million-dollar mansion they're in today. They have got their multi-million-dollar mansion close to the Obama's multi-million-dollar mansion, just off of Embassy Row in Washington, D.C., and then they have their multi-million-dollar mansion in New York. They've got that. I think they have a multi-million-dollar apartment in New York City, too, don't they? They got all kinds. It's good to be a humble member of the Democrat Party. Crazy, man, crazy. So it is Hump Day, and that also means that it's Mailbag Day. Mailbag Day here on the Chris Plant Show, because when it's Hump Day in the Clinton household, it's Mailbag Day here in the Chris Plant Studios. It's not really what they're called. They're not really called the Chris Plant Studios. Maybe someday, though, we should rename the studios. What do you think, Michael, the Chris Plant Studios? Put a plaque up or something like that. Maybe nothing immodest, just a tasteful plaque, I think would be appropriate. I was just trading text messages back and forth with my pals in New York City. They're in New York City, the city that never sweeps. And, my Newsmax friends, my friend John with Newsmax in New York just sent along a hilarious video, and I'm going to share it with you, even though we're on the radio, because it's funny. In New Jersey, there is a restaurant, and it's a proud ethnic restaurant, and they have their flags out front. And a young liberal woman who's a Kamala voter and a Biden voter, came up to the restaurant and attacked the restaurant and tore down all the flags, yelling about genocide. And there's genocide, and she's yelling. And the nice owner lady, or the lady running the restaurant, came outside and said, What are you doing? She said, and she's screaming at the lady, "There's genocide. There's genocide going on." And there's a man and a woman standing there, and they're associated with the nice ethnic restaurant. And the woman, the young Democrat woman, is screaming. She's angry, and she's irrational, and she's violent. She's demented. And she tears down all these flags, multiple flags, and she's screaming at the people running the restaurant. And until one of them says, they say, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And she's screaming, "There's genocide, and you can't allow this." And he said, "Well, this is a Greek restaurant. Those are Greek flags. What are you doing tearing down Greek flags for? What are you, out of your stinking mind?" And that's a rhetorical question, of course. I'm going to have that audio for you because every day is an IQ test, and the Democrat Party is not doing very well on the IQ test. Not at all. Absolutely crazy. Man, oh, Manischewitz. I'm telling you. So I've got that for you because Democrats, you know how they are. Violent, criminally insane, and ignorant as heck. Just completely nuts. Womp, womp, womp. But I've got that because they're violent. They're ignorant. They're ill-informed. And, they get a hold of a lot of misinformation, don't they? Misinformation and disinformation. And Michael's looking at the video now for the first time, and you should see his face. She posted it herself. That's every day's an IQ test. Just hey, look what I did. I accomplished something. I thought I was attacking an Israeli restaurant, but I was attacking a Greek restaurant. Well, they've got a blue and white flag also. It's blue and white. So you can see why she might be confused. And then, continuing on her low IQ crusade, she posted the video herself. Her parents must be so proud. Do you think she has parents? That's pretty amazing. Yes, it is. But we've got a lot to get to because Kamala, she did an interview yesterday with a guy who goes by the name of Leonard Larry McKelvey. Leonard, and it's misspelled Leonard, L-E-N-A-R-D, L-E-N-A-R-D. Larry, not even Lawrence, and McKelvey, the traditional spelling. And Leonard Larry McKelvey, he's got a pseudonym that he uses, like so many people that Democrats, how they are. Leonard Larry McKelvey is his real name, and he goes by Charlemagne the God. And he misspells the word the. The word the is misspelled. And that's why, you have to make fun of everybody that they love misspelling. They're promoting illiteracy. They've got an ongoing illiteracy camp. The Democrats do it. And Leonard McKelvey, you think he goes by Leonard at home? Do you think his mom calls him Charlemagne the God at the dinner table? Or she call him Leonard, L-E-N-A-R-D. Hey, Leonard, kind of misspelled. Or does she call him Larry? Because when he goes home, I don't think he gets all that much respect. But we've got, and then he spells Charlemagne, right? And do you think, I'd like to ask him, who was Charlemagne? A European emperor more than 1,000 years ago, kind of post-Roman Empire. And why does he have this emperor complex? What is with that? Does he think he's Queen Latifah? What's going on with that? Count Basie? Come on. So he goes by Charlemagne, and then he spells the word the, T-H-A, because what Democrats do, they like to pass along to the next generation, like monkeypox. It's pretty amazing. Of course, they just invented monkeypox, didn't they? Then they got so much monkeypox, they changed the name to Mpox because they like to shorten everything, like to abbreviate everything. Now they call it Mpox. I still call it monkeypox because it's more fun to call it monkeypox. But that's me. Just amazing stuff. Your Democrat Party, they are not well. They are violent. Oh, and by the way, the news media, they keep asking Republicans. They ask all Republicans. They ask J.D. Vance, hey, will you accept the outcome of the election this year no matter what? They ask President Trump, will you accept the outcome no matter what? And they always like to add, they always use the same language. They have the same brain. They share one brain between millions of them. It's an ugly thing. But will you accept the outcome of the election in 2024? And the news media, they look very smug, and they're scratching their Lucite desktop and stuff. And they ask Marco Rubio, will you accept, Senator Marco Rubio, will you accept the outcome, the results of the election? And then you turn to Democrats who are Democrats. They're leftists, they're radicals, they're extremists, they're anti-American, they're violent. They'll tear down your Greek flag because they hate the Jews, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because they're not the brightest bunch in the world. But they'll attack your Greek restaurant. Hey, damn your spanakopita. Yeah, they probably should have read the menu or something like that. That's great stuff. But they ask, they're pounding, demanding, insisting, I demand that you declare weeks ahead of the election that you will accept the results of the. It's almost as though they think the fix is in, right? Like it's rigged. Like the Democrats have already laid the track here for even though they're down in the polls and everything. They're like, we're going to win. And Kamala said, we're going to win. And then they say, we demand that you will accept the outcome of the election no matter what. But at the same time, they've got these crooked Democrat members of Congress all over the place who are saying, well, we don't know what's going to happen on Election Day, and I'm not sure that I'm going to certify the election on January 6th. How can I know if I'm going to certify the election if I don't know how the election went? Because, they're fascists. They're Hitler. They aren't they? Isn't that the terminology, the accepted terminology? These fascists, they are baby-killing socialists, and Adolf Hitler's party was the Socialist Workers' Party of Germany, but setting that aside. Yeah, so the Democrats, and the news media says, yeah, you shouldn't announce that you'll accept the outcome of the election to Democrats. And then to Republicans, they pound the table and scratch their own eyes out. Say, I insist that you declare that you will accept, no matter what happens, the outcome of the election this year. Because, January 6th, and which was not even scratching the surface compared to all the riots and the looting and plundering and killing that the Democrat Party perpetrated in literally hundreds of riots. Just amazing. Amazing stuff. The Washington Post headline today, Trump's racism serves two purposes. That's the Washington Post headline, serves two purposes. And the Washington Post knows what those two purposes are. The Democrat Party kills 40% of the black population in the womb and ignores 10,000 African-American murders in the United States every year. And they create the school-to-prison pipeline because the Democrats, isn't it amazing? And, the Democrats, they brought millions and millions of illegals into the country, and they've murdered all kinds of young women and rapes and things. And now Fox News has a story, illegal immigrants arrested in wealthy Florida county for sexual crimes against a child. Hey, wait a minute. Weren't illegal aliens arrested for sexual crimes against children in Nantucket recently? Weren't illegal aliens arrested for sexual crimes against children on Martha's Vineyard? Aren't there illegal aliens being arrested for sexual crimes against children all over the country? But, the Democrats, they're the Epstein Island people. They're the Harvey Weinstein people. They're the Bill Clinton people. Hey, how'd you like to be an intern in the Bill Clinton White House? Yes, sir. Bring your chapstick because you're going to learn all about Washington while you're here. Womp, womp, womp. Just amazing stuff. So we've got that. And you remember this ISIS guy who was going to perpetrate a mass murder terrorist attack, Muslim guy from Afghanistan, and waved into the country by Biden and Harris. And he was arrested a couple of weeks ago because he had bought the weapons and the ammo, recruited an underage, something or other, probably sexually abusing, and because they like that, it's like Blazing Saddles, the Democrat Party. Being recruited for the Democrat Party is like being recruited for the outlaw gang and Blazing Saddles, just completely nuts. But it turns out they told us, the State Department and the rest, they told us, and I think Cringe at the White House told us that this Afghan guy had been vetted 3 times. He worked for the CIA in Afghanistan. Then they brought him here, and then he bought a rifle and recruited a lunatic, and it was going to be a suicide attack, and they were going to murder as many people as possible on Election Day. And the FBI, the good guys at the FBI, caught him, and he's in jail now. I don't think Kamala's bailed him out yet, raised money to bail him out. But it turns out that he was not vetted. They told us over and over again that he was vetted 3 times. And they were lying to us. They were spreading disinformation, misinformation. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. Wah, wah, wah. I'm telling you. Also, Lufthansa, the German airline, they were fined $4 million for discriminating against a Jewish passenger. Hey, you guys, you're the German airline. You should probably be a little sensitive to this sort of thing. You guys and your history, what with the Jews and everything, maybe you should dial that down. Lufthansa. Have I ever told you about the German diplomatic license plates in Washington? I'll share that with you, too. And we are at 888-630-9625. We got white people, going to put all non-white people in camps. This is what Kamala's spreading. It's misinformation, it's disinformation, it's fear-mongering. And in the same breath, she says the Republicans are trying to spread fear, and they're going to put all people of color in camps. Camps like where you make wallets and play lacrosse and stuff? What kind of camps? We're at 888-630-9625. All right, let's go to the telephones, because this is time to go to the telephones. Let us go to Matt calling from St. Louis, Missouri. Matthew, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, Chris. Happy Bosses Day in Abortopia. Hey, I have several things. I'll get through what I can. First, since it's hump day, at Bill Clinton's event the other day, he said, we're not making enough babies. I thought his next time was going to be, hey, I'm here to help, and he'd wink at some young blonde girls in the audience and see what he could do to.
You're absolutely, you got to be concerned when Bill Clinton starts talking about the fact that we're not producing enough babies.
America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up. Okay. So we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work. There wouldn't be a problem.
And he was eyeballing the crowd all over the place there, Matt. Maybe we should send Doug Emhoff down there to the border, because he knocked up their nanny from his first marriage. Maybe between Clinton and Emhoff, we could have, we could start solving that problem.
Right. Hey, so another thing, you mentioned Charlemagne, the misspelled god.
Yeah.
He not only misspells he actually misspells Charlemagne if you look up the spelling of the emperor, at least based on my research. So, but, when he misspelled his name on his birth certificate, Leonard, you'd expect, he'd probably have similar problems.
Yeah, Leonard Larry. It's kind of LL, Leonard Larry. It's Charlemagne, THA, misspelled God.
Yeah, I think he has an A instead of an E, or vice versa in his spelling for Charlemagne. Third thing, they're giving Trump trouble about using a 1700s law. Well, Jackoff Smith, his prosecution is involving the Ku Klux Klan Act, among other things. Yeah, that's an 1800s law. So a little bit hypocritical, no sense of irony, I guess.
No sense of irony is right. Thing, yeah, go ahead.
I knew that I knew this whole militia in North Carolina, the pickup truck thing was fake. Same way I knew that Jesse Smollett, it just checked too many of their fantasy boxes. It was like their wet dream. Jesse Smollett, it's like they said, this is MAGA country. They attack a black gay guy. They got MAGA hats on. They have a noose. The noose was a real giveaway.
Yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning when an Arctic blast is coming down Lake Michigan from Canada, and somebody recognized Juicy Smollett. None of that was plausible from the get-go.
Yeah, and with this North Carolina, it's pickup trucks and guns and hillbillies and anti-government.
You're 100% right. It is a Smollett fraud. You're right. CNN made the mistake of inviting an African-American conservative on this morning to talk about the election, and I'm going to share his audio with you as well. His name is Shelley Winter, and he explained to the shocked and stunned CNN anchors and panel this morning that this election is between the House African Americans. That's what it comes down to, he says, that this whole thing with Kamala Harris, the House African Americans versus the field African Americans. And what do you hear this guy on CNN, they were shocked, I tell you, to find that there was truth taking place on their set. Pretty amazing stuff. The Democrats. The party of the Confederacy lives on. The party of lynching and Jim Crow. The Democrat Party, the party of Sheriff Bull Connor and George Wallace. Standing in schoolhouse doors, the party. Amazing stuff, but not a bright bunch. They are not known for their intelligence. Corruption, yes. Intelligence, no. Now let me go take you to a remarkable incident that occurred in New Jersey. It's noteworthy because it's about the ignorant, violent Democrat Party. And in Montclair, New Jersey, there is a Greek restaurant called Effie's, E-F-I, Effie's Gyro, right? Gyro, the gyro. You know, gyros. Gyros are delicious. Greek food is delicious. But at Effie's Gyro, looks like a nice place too, doesn't it? And there are a couple of nice people working at the restaurant. There's a woman who was stunned and befuddled by what she was watching, and a man who was similarly stunned and befuddled by what he was watching as well. And a young woman who's a Democrat showed up at Effie's restaurant, Greek restaurant, in Montclair, New Jersey. And because they're proud Greeks, and all Greeks are proud, and they should be, because Greece is so great and the Greek people are so much fun. And the restaurant has a string of Greek flags that are like those 1 foot sized Greek flags. And the Greek flag is a blue and white flag with stripes and a field in the corner and a cross. I've got a Greek flag tie at home that I got at one of my favorite Greek restaurants. And you know, love Greece. My best girl and I have always said if we won the lottery and we couldn't be found, you'll find us in Greece, because we'd go to Greece. But they're in this very nice-looking stretch of businesses, and Effie's, the woman is inside and the man is outside that work there. And here comes this Democrat, and she's tearing down the string of Greek flags, and then there's one large Greek flag, like a full-size Greek flag, and she tore that flag down too. And she's violently, criminally insane and angry. And it turns out, as you will discover in a moment, she thought that these were Jews, that these were the Jews, that these were Israeli flags, and she could not sit idly by and allow Israeli flags to be displayed in public. So she violently tore them down and stamped on them and grabbed them and ripped them. You know, she's just attacking them. And the nice people at the Greek restaurant, befuddled and confused, and the woman comes out the front door, the man is there. And, you know, did they grab her and slam her head against the brick? They've got brick sidewalks here, very nice looking area. And it sounded like this, because the Democrat lady comes up, and she's so angry with Israel that she attacks a Greek restaurant.
Free Palestine, bitch. Look, what you looking at? You know damn well there's a genocide.
And she's
you
cursing.
You know there's a genocide.
We had to clean it
Guys,
up.
stop it. I'm taking this down. What are they gonna do? They can't do nothing. I don't stand for it. I don't stand for it.
She doesn't stand for it.
I don't stand for this. There's genocide, and I don't.
The
stand
woman
for
running the restaurant is looking at her just.
I don't support it.
Shocked.
There's a genocide. You
mouth
know that,
hanging
right?
open.
They're killing children.
There's a man.
What's the purpose? Be proud of your heritage.
You're
Y'all
for Planned
understand
Parenthood,
there's a genocide, right? You understand, right? There's nothing against people who are Jewish, but this is not okay.
This is Greeky.
Who's this?
This is Greeky.
What?
This is Greeky.
Greeky.
The man says this is
I thought it was
Greeky.
Israel. My bad.
Oh, I thought
really?
I thought it was Israel. My bad. Really?
Oh, I thought it was Israel. My bad. Really?
Just another Harris voter. Just another Biden voter. Violent and as stupid as the day is long. just amazing stuff. And the guy, there's a woman in her 20s, I'd say, and then the man at the Greek restaurant, and they're looking at this woman with their mouths hanging open, and they're just kind of like holding their hands up in the air, going, what is this woman doing? Why is she attacking a Greek restaurant? And it's because she's so stupid that she votes Democrat and thinks that the Greek flag is the Israeli flag, and that entitles her to attack the restaurant because Democrats told her that that's okay, that kind of violence and anti-Semitism is okay. So this is just another case of misguided anti-Semitism. She believed it was genuine and authentic and legitimate anti-Semitism, but instead it was an IQ test, and she failed. Boy, did she fail. Just amazing. That's just another example of the Democrat Party being the Democrat Party. I don't really get to Montclair, New Jersey very frequently, but if I were going there anytime soon, I would definitely go to Effie's Gyros and see if the food's good there, because I bet it is. Isn't that great? You're Democrats. You're Democrats. Now, let's tell you what, with that, let's go to another telephone call. What do you say? And and Bill Clinton, and that was fun. Bill Clinton said, "We're not having enough babies." Yeah, and he's just the guy to fix the job. And let's get Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein and let's get Anthony Weiner. He likes the 15-year-old girls online too, doesn't he? That's it's okay when you're a Democrat to be that person. Just amazing. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Jay calling from Arlington, Virginia. JJ, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Good morning, Chris. I would strongly encourage any Finnish or Scottish restaurants or any other restaurants that have blue and white flags to hire extra security now.
That's an excellent observation. You're absolutely right. Finnish restaurants could be in grave danger of attack by Democrats.
Exactly.
They become enraged when they see blue and white.
The reason I called in was you asking about or talking about why the press doesn't ask Democrats if they'll accept the election right now.
Uh-huh.
In the same way, have you ever heard any news anchor ask when they're talking about a Democrat story, have you ever heard them cite without evidence? It seems like every time I hear without evidence, it's always referring to conservatives and Republicans.
You're
and
100%
maybe the
correct.
NRC could answer that. They could do a search and see if that's ever been applied to Democrats or Democrats' stories. And I think that goes to, the overarching issue is that in addition to other things, I think the election in 2016 was a referendum on the press. And I think this election, among other things, also needs to be a conservative referendum on the press. As they say, you don't hate them enough.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the news media. Honestly, it's impossible to hate them enough. They're not on the side of truth or good or justice or the American way. They're not in favor of any of this. And you're right. It ought to be. And if the Republicans knew how to do politics, they would. And they don't. They would follow your advice. They would take your advice and make this election a referendum on the press as well, because it is the most corrupt institution in the United States of America, as you're well aware, Jay, and they corrupt our entire political process every day when they get out of somebody else's bed.
Yeah, I think J.D. has gone some distance to it. I think his conversation with, was it Kristen Walker? Is that the one? This last weekend. But even so, even he could tighten down or ramp up on that criticism. And I think the only thing they respond to is either shame or humiliation or ridicule, and we need to do more of that.
I think they pay for humiliation, and on weekends the bullwhip, they pay extra for that Mapplethorpe bullwhip treatment, because humiliation. They've got to love humiliation. Just look at their behavior. If they didn't love humiliation, how could they live with themselves?
I think they were like the character in Dirty Harry that pays somebody to beat him up in the streets of San Francisco. That might be getting a little bit distant for your audience, but certainly made an impression on me. And I think you're right that the Democrats like that.
I don't think that's too distant or remote for the audience. I think that's a good, solid Dirty Harry reference. And you're right, the creepy killer hired somebody to beat him up, a black guy, and then he insulted him and called him a racial slur to make sure that he got, to beat up severely enough for the money that he paid him to beat him up, so that he could blame Dirty Harry for beating him up, because the cop was the bad guy, right, in the eyes of the killer. He was trying to set up the cop, Dirty Harry. And that's what the Democrats are doing now. The whole Democrat Party is kind of like the guy. He was a soap opera star, I think, the killer in Dirty Harry. But, yeah, now.
Well, I think Trump could be Dirty Donald. Dirty Donnie.
I'm telling you, yeah, and you're right about the Finnish flag. I love that, Jay. That's very funny. You're absolutely right about without evidence, and the news media using without evidence exclusively against Republicans. And you're right that J.D. Vance called Kristen Welker on the carpet the other and laughed at her for her ridiculous claims. Just such frauds pretending to be journalists. And honestly, it's why I had to get out of the old news business job that I was in and CNN because it had become just like Kristen Welker and it had become so corrupt that I couldn't bear telling people what I did for a living, so I had to leave and go do something honest. And
so
that's
you have character and integrity.
Yeah, and maintain your character and your integrity, and that's right. And these are very important words. Integrity is a very important word that we don't teach.
Now that you mention it, J.D. Vance and the Speaker of the House this last weekend both used shame on their respective news readers. That was, Kristen, can you see yourself or look at yourself? But then the Speaker also said a similar thing to, I don't know if it was Margaret or who it was that he was speaking to. He says, listen to what you're saying. And I can't think that was by accident. So maybe there's hope.
Maybe there's hope. Well, I got to tell you, the number one adversary that the Republicans have is the American news media, the most corrupt institution. And the left has secured information dominance, which is a military concept. When you invade another country, you secure information dominance. And the left forget that they call themselves the Democrat Party because the Democratic Party isn't. And they are as corrupt as the day is long. And this corruption of academia, and in particular the corrupt news media, is why black people vote for the party of Jim Crow and slavery year after year. Yeah, we'd never vote for the party of Abraham Lincoln. We'd never vote for the party of the Emancipation Proclamation that ended slavery. We'd never vote for the people. Joe Biden didn't want his kids going to school in a racial jungle. Yeah, let's vote for him because it's just amazing. This is what information dominance can do for you.
Democracy dies in darkness, and it's pretty dark right now.
It is pretty darn dark. Yes, it is. Jay, thank you. Great call. Great stuff.
Thanks for what you do.
Thank you. Piece of cake. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's really easy. It's just, a lot of truth and a little integrity goes a long way in today's world. It really does. Honor, integrity, self-respect, and respect for the truth. These are pretty fundamental American concepts and always have been. And I'm happy to say that I was raised with those concepts. And my mother, a lifelong Democrat, raised her 6 sons with these concepts because they were not always alien to the Democratic Party, but they are certainly alien to the Democratic Party now. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Jay, you mentioned a couple of things that we're going to get to coming up because we've got a lot of great stuff to get to. And the news media being the biggest problem that civilization faces right now. Forget about the jihad, the global jihad. The American news media is more dangerous to civilization than is ISIS-K or ISIS-K. It's not just a breakfast cereal anymore. ISIS-K. Find it in your cereal aisle. Amazing stuff. So, yeah, I've got an update on that, too. White people are going to camps. This is what happened in the Charlemagne the Misspelled God, the Leonard show yesterday. The Republicans, white people, they're going to put people of color in camps. They're not going to kill 40% of them in the womb. Not going to shoot 10,000 of them and kill them this year. Not going to put 500,000 in jail. That's the Democrat Party. So definitely vote for them if you're black because, keep the Confederacy going. And we are at 888-630-9625. And I've got more news media, too, with just crazy stuff. All right, well, we have an action-packed 3 hours for you today. And I love this guy, Shelley Winter, radio talk show host in Atlanta, Georgia. And he was on CNN this morning, and they didn't know how to handle him. He's conservative. He's African-American. He's not taking any prisoners. And the Democrats are going around spouting, the Republicans are going to put people in camps. I think Rachel Maddow dreams of that, too. They love the idea that they're going to be victims. The most exalted status for a lefty is that of victim. And then they create, they make themselves into a victim class based on their fantasies, which are usually sexual in nature. Kind of bizarre. But Kamala Harris is promising black men legalize pot. You're going to run pot stores, and I'm going to give you $20,000 that you never have to pay back. And what else? Bitcoin. We're going to give you a Bitcoin. Nobody knows where that's going to come from. It's going to be real good because, you'll be stoned. She should give everybody Glocks, too. She should give out. She said she's got a Glock. I got a Glock. You got a Glock. Everybody gets a Glock. It's going to be like Oprah, but different. Let's take a fun. And I've got amazing media stuff for you today. Amazing stuff. Can I get to it right after the top of the hour? Let's go to Rick calling from North Carolina. Ricardo, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris.
Hey, Rick.
The fake news with their no evidence militias interfering with FEMA this ties right in with Jamie Raskin's bill that's going to outlaw all paramilitary activities on a federal level. Apparently, there's no federal law against that.
Really, I find you can paramilitaries. I'd like to see how they phrase this. So if you are like a hunting group of hunters, can they label you as a militia because you go out in the woods with rifles?
Well, certainly. And also, if you're looking through a spotting scope, telling your buddy that he's 4 minutes low at 3 o'clock or at 6 o'clock, that could be considered training as well. I'm certain of it.
Jamie Raskin, you mentioned Jamie Raskin because Jamie Raskin is not willing to accept the outcome of the election this year. And he said it. He said, well, and he wasn't even asked directly. He volunteered it because the news media, gives him a tongue bath, which is a really unappealing proposition if you've seen Jamie Raskin. But they give him a tongue bath anyway. And Jamie Raskin, hey, will you accept? Somebody's got to start asking the Democrats, will you accept the outcome of the presidential election no matter what? Because that's the question they keep asking Republicans. I'm going to get to that after the top of the hour, too. Raskin.